was the product of chemistry, and held her close to her chest so they could both enjoy the scenery. "My life was supposed to be coming to an end," she whispered into Lola's ear. "It wasn't supposed to be starting over." But that's exactly what had happened. At the ripe old age of 64, Alberta was surprised to learn that her favorite aunt was a secret multimillionaire, and Alberta, for some still unknown reason, her only heir. Just when she thought she was going to have to start watching her pennies and invent new ways to stretch her late husband Sammy's Social Security and pension checks, she was given a new lease on life thanks to the millions she received from Carmela, not to mention the keys to the cottage at 22 Memory Lake Road in the lakeside enclave of Tranquility, New Jersey. Alberta had spent joyful summer vacations here with her family as a child, but she never thought she'd return as a homeowner to embark on a whole new chapter of her life. As a widow, she also assumed that she'd have to learn to live life by herself. But ever since she moved to Tranquility, the reverse was true. She seemed to be surrounded by more family and friends than ever before. Her sister, Helen, who recently left the convent where she had been a nun for 41 years, was now living as a civilian nearby. Her sister-in-law, Joyce, who retired from years of working on Wall Street, lived on the other side of the lake. Her childhood friend, Vinnie D'Angelo, was the chief of police. Lola, who liked to appear aloof and disinterested, was never far from her side. And then there was the Mela dell'Occhio, the apple of Alberta's eye, her granddaughter, Jinx. After years of being separated, Alberta and Jinx, whose real name was Gina, but thanks to the comical and complicated circumstances surrounding her birth in an Atlantic City casino on Friday the 13th, would forever be known by her nickname, had been reunited, and their relationship was growing stronger every day. Even when there were 1,000 miles between them while Jinx was growing up in Eufaula, Florida, of all places, their love for each other never faded. But now that they lived a few minutes from each other, it was in full bloom like the fragrant hydrangeas and honeysuckle flowers that dotted Alberta's property. What was better, and perhaps even more unexpected, was that their respect and curiosity for each other had also blossomed. At 25, Jinx was at an age when most women wouldn't want to spend the time and energy to get to know an estranged grandparent. Maybe an occasional Sunday afternoon dinner or a mandatory holiday visit to alleviate feelings of guilt and to convince herself that she was being a dutiful granddaughter. But Jinx was different. She, like Alberta, understood the importance of family. The wonderful revelation, however, was that they were both finding out that family members could be linked together not only by blood, but by friendship too. Alberta and Jinx liked each other. Alberta admired Jinx's determination to have a career and her willingness to work hard to become the best journalist she could be. She marveled at her fearlessness and the fact that she faced the unknown armed with courage instead of walking down a safer, more familiar path. Jinx was impressed with Alberta's emotional strength and her devotion to her family and those she loved. She respected the fact that her grandmother embraced the curves life had thrown her and hadn't allowed the past to defeat her, but only became more capable to overcome the next hurdle. And they both adored each other's spunk and senses of humor. Despite the 40-year age gap and the countless differences in their upbringings, they had so many common interests and beliefs, it was as if they had filled out personality questionnaires and a computer chose them to be best friends. On those certain occasions when they didn't see eye to eye on a particular topic, they almost always considered it an opportunity to learn something new. Except, of course, when it came to cooking. No matter how many times Jinx had tried to get Alberta to substitute tofu for sausage or incorporate vegan ingredients into her traditional Italian recipes, she'd failed. As Alberta once told her, "Jinx, I love you, but don't make me choose between you and lasagna." Despite